whose work has consistently championed the rights and dignity of marginalized community. He is the founder and state secretary of Disha, an NGO that has been working for over a decade towards the empowerment and inclusion of socially disadvantaged groups. Currently, Mr. Vale is a research scholar in the Department of Sociology at St. Teresa's College, Ernakulam, and a UGC Senior Fellow. He holds a first-rank postgraduate degree in sociology from Sri Shankaracharya University of Sanskrit, Kaladi. Mr. Vale, being a passionate educator and communicator, has conducted over 300 training and awareness sessions across India, focusing on social justice, human rights, and community empowerment. His writings and interviews have appeared in leading Malayalam publications such as Mathrubhumi, Madhyamam, and Samakalika Malayalam. He is also a regular media panelist, frequently participating in discussions on both regional and national television platforms. His remarkable contributions have earned him several awards and recognitions, including Dr. B.R. Ambedkar National Meritorious Award, Ministry of Social Justice, Government of India, Karma Award by NKR Foundation, chaired by the eminent writer M.T. Vasudevan Nair, 2015, K.V. Anup Memorial Award, 2017, Sahas Youth Award by Viscom, a South Asian think tank under the Foundation for Universal Responsibility of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, 2020, Ambedkar's Karavan Sarathi Award, All India SC/ST Railway Employees Association, Palakkad Division, and Sahitya Pratibha, Calicut University. In addition to his academic and social contributions, Mr. Vale has also held several leadership and advisory positions, including University Union Councillor, Sri Shankaracharya University of Sanskrit, Member of Committee for Drafting SC/ST Cell Regulation, SSUS, Member of Committee for Campus Safety, SSUS, State Resource Member, Scaffold Project, Samagraha Shiksha Kerala, mentoring higher secondary students from marginalized communities, founder and state secretary, Disha. With his deep commitment to equality, education, and empowerment, Mr. Vale continues to inspire a generation of youth and change makers through his words and actions. We are truly grateful to have him amongst us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mobiti, for presenting an impressive profile of our chief guest, whose tireless efforts towards empowerment of tribal communities is truly an inspiration for all of us. To express our gratitude and appreciation, we now proceed with the felicitation ceremony. I humbly request the dignitaries to felicitate our chief guest, Mr. Dinu Vale, as a token of our heartfelt appreciation. Thank you, dignitaries. We are deeply honored to welcome Mr. Dinu Vale. His dedication to creating a meaningful changes in his life of marginalized communities, including tribal population, continue to inspire many. His presence adds an immense value to his National Research Symposium, and we eagerly look forward for his enlightening address. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Dinu Vale.
respected person and of the rise. A warm good evening to everyone. So all of you laughed when I just mistook the time invention didn't. So that's okay. So you just have to think. We laugh at merely mistaking the time. So how will we laugh at people who dress differently, who follows different sort of culture? Say for a person, for instance, a person from the tribal community, that laughter can certainly convert to a wound. So what begins as a harmless laugh often becomes the start of exclusion. So as we begin this research symposium, I invite you to think who gets laughed at, who gets heard, and who gets to tell the story. Okay, to start with, I would be giving a small icebreaker in order to know about your attention span during the session. Okay, it's a very simple icebreaker game. So I'll be saying to stand up, but you are not supposed to stand up. If I say Tom says stand up, you can stand up. Okay. If I'm saying Tom says adjacent to some words, you have to obey the singer. Okay. The colonial obeying power. Okay. Understood? Okay. Hands up. Tom says hands up. Hands down. Tom says hands up. Tom says hands up. Clap. Okay, now we will start the game. Okay, those are out. Please be seated. Okay. Please stand up, all of you. Tom says stand up. Sit down. Sit down, please be seated. Hands up. Tom says hands up. Tom says hands down. Tom says hands up. Hands down. Sit there, I saw you. Okay, clap. Tom says clap. Clap. Sit. Okay. Tom says hands up. Tom says hands up. Sit. Clap. Tom says clap. Tom says clap. Clap. Tom says clap. Clap. Hands down. Tom says sit down. Tom says stand up. Sit down. Okay, please be seated. Can you have a wireless mic? Okay. So throughout the session, I would be posing some questions to you. So please be alert. Okay. So, what comes to your mind when you hear the term tribe or Adivas? Yourself. Yeah. Give it an answer. Just one term. Give me a term when you hear these two terms, tribe or Adivas. What comes to your mind? Just one term, any random term, like forest or something. Just one term is enough. No need of sentence. No A grades for you. Yeah. Forest. Okay. Yourself. I'm coming next to you. Yourself. Ah. Okay. Some random word. Song. Okay. Good. Yourself. Different clothes. Okay. I'm coming to this side now. Okay. Yourself. Yeah. Hunting. Okay, great. Yourself. Marginalized. Okay, the one at the back. Yourself. Happy that you said that, right? Yeah. Give me a word. Community. Okay, yours. Tradition. Rural tradition. Old tradition. Okay, old people. Okay, fine. Yourself. Tattoos. Okay. Alright. So I'm going to call 6 of it stage now. One. Yeah. Yourself. Yeah. Yourself. No, yourself. You yourself. Yeah. Both of you come. Come. Okay. You. Yeah. This one. Please come. Please. Hmm. Yourself. Yeah. Please come to the stage. Please come. Please. Okay. Come on. Yeah. Yourself. Okay. Please come. Okay. Going to give you 30 seconds. You have to make a tableau. Okay. The theme is tribal or Adivasi people. Just make a tableau. You have to stand, freeze, make a shape. Okay. Clear. Start. Just join together. Discuss and make shape. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So this is a title coming. Okay, here's the makeup. Thank you. So when I asked tribal community, the terms which I got was like water, river resources, tattoos, indigenous culture, community, and the shape form was a circular shape of people, tribal community people doing some kind of cultural activity, right? Does this image come to your mind? You didn't think of enacting a Rashtrapati Bhavan, right? When you have a president coming from the tribal community, right? Your terms like old, traditional, tattoo people. Do you know this person? Anyone? So this is Soni Suri, who was an Adivasi school teacher from Chhattisgarh, and she was attacked. She faced an acid attack in 2016. Okay. So she asked me a very important question. She asked, what would be the biggest dream of a woman, a carrying woman? What would be her biggest dream? What do you think would be a biggest dream of a carrying woman? To give birth to their child. Yo. To educate the child. Yourself? Yeah. Yeah, brother, tell me. Huh? What would be a biggest dream for a woman who is carrying? Taking care. Okay. So what Soni Suri says is that in Chhattisgarh and other northeastern states, the biggest dream of a carrying woman, she tells a particular tribal leader was caught by police and she was carrying at that time for 8 months. So this particular police officer, as a part of custodial torture, the particular police officer hit on her and punched on her stomach, and she fell down. When she was waking up, urine was the thing which was given for drinking. And she tells when she wakes up from after some time, she just touches her stomach, and at a particular point, she realized that her child inside her womb or stomach is alive. And she tells that is the greatest dream for a tribal leader coming from a northeastern states to understand that the child is alive. That is the biggest thing. That's what Soni Suri says. Do you know this person? Anyone? No one. Who? Nanjiamma. Who is Nanjiamma? Tribal singer who won a national award, right? So if I have asked for like terms, you could have said national award, right? You could have said the name of Nanjiamma. So what comes to your mind is basically this. Okay. You know this, right? You do not know Nanjiamma, you do not know Soni Suri, but you are familiar with. Do you know the name of this character? Fine. Okay. Rich contribution to Indian history, right? Okay. So this is how movies portray tribal people. And interestingly, if you look at this movie, there is no subtitle for the language which this person is, right? So they are speaking some random shit, but there are no subtitles, which means that these voices are not cannot be translated even into subtitles in another way, right? So this is the way in which tribal people are portrayed in movies even today. So when we try to academically look at how tribal people are being represented or portrayed, the first kind of portrayal is a kind of criminalization and pathologization of tribes. So this is tribes are inherently deviant or are predisposed to criminality. And you might have heard about the Criminal Rights Act in 1871, right? Have you heard as law students? So basically, they told in 1871, the colonial forces told that there are some tribal people who are habitual offenders, and nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes were classified as habitual offenders. And it was only repealed in 1952. So there was restrictions for movements, restrictions for livelihood, and there was serious custodial torture also during that time. So this is also reinforced through the Hindu modern hierarchies and post-colonial policy practices. And even though it was repealed in 1952, you could see the same minds of categorizing tribal people are as pathological or as criminal tribes still exist in the mindset of people, even if the law was repealed. So you might be familiar with this movie, right? JB movie. So you know about the case, right? Raja Kannu case. So it is a 1993 case in Madras High Court where the extrajudicial powers with regard to the habeas corpus was exercised. This is an actual woman who fought for her husband, Parvati, and Justice Chandra. You might be familiar with, right? Okay, so even in Karnataka, you can see in 2025, 3 cops were suspended for implicating tribal man in false murder case of wife in Karnataka, and 7 years in conviction and an acquittal. 3 tribal men fought for conversion charges in Madhya Pradesh. So this also happened in 2025. Do you know this person? He's also from Kerala, Madhu. So he was tied, he was tortured like anything, and these people murdered him. And recently in Meghalaya, anyone from Meghalaya? There is a famous honeymoon place in Meghalaya. I don't know about the same. Yes, what was it? Yeah.
So in Meghalaya, the newlywed couple, they went to Meghalaya for a honeymoon trip. Then the husband was murdered. Right? So initially, people thought that the people of Meghalaya, they were goons, they were illiterate. So they literally blamed the people of Meghalaya, the locals, for the death of the husband. Then after investigation, the police found out that it was not the tribals, right? But then it turned out to be the wife herself. She plotted his murder step by step, and then that's pretty much it.
So the false implication of the tribal people are even continued today. So these was the tweets which came during the particular period. Tribals of Meghalaya, Christian converts probably were behind this incident. These tribal attack non-locals may be due to brainwashing from Christian missionaries, so and so. Okay. So the kind of stereotyping the religious minority tribal people from the Meghalaya and accusing them as these criminal tribes are even being happening these days. And another kind of stereotypes which works with regard to the representation of tribal communities, over romanticizing the tribal community. So they represent tribes as ecological guardians, noble savages, and these NGOs also perpetuate this kind of hyper romanticization. Tourism industries also uses. So there is an aesthetic visibility where the political subjectivity is being totally erased. So as we have told, the tattoos, their culture, their indigenous art forms, these are the things which are being taught into the mindset of the people when we say the word tribal, not looking at the political subjectivity. And this is a kind of symbolic inclusion. Have you seen this movie? Okay, so for two tribal people to fight against any colonial forces, they have to have some resemblance with God. So they are suddenly becoming the avatars of God in order to fight against the colonial forces. So these are real life people, Alluram, Sidaram, Raju and Komaram Bhim, who fought against the colonial people, but you cannot see any other freedom fighters easily be said as the avatars of God. So if tribal people have to be something, they have to be the avatars of God. They wouldn't be having themselves some sort of energy to fight back against the colonial forces. So these are kind of over romanticization. So in the area you are having pathologizing tribal people, and in another binary you are having over romanticizing of the tribal community. So you can see the tourism plans, how they are becoming destructive to the tribal community. In Kerala also we are having Ennur projects similar to them. So how these projects portray people belonging to the tribal community is a bit problematic. How ecotourism portrays people belonging to the tribal community is to be problematized. And the third thing is the stereotype is developmental and civilizational stereotypes. So we say that there is a civilization burden mission, and we see that they are backward, primitive, non-modern, and they marginalizes entire tribal epistemology. So in Kerala also, we are having these tribal houses given by government, where the names of the particular project is being empaneled in the house itself. So how do you feel about this? How will a child getting inside the house with his friends feel? When your house is always having this particular board that this was gifted by some government by using this particular fund. So we are in an era where Puttaswamy judgment has been delivered, right? So where does the right to privacy of these people who are beneficiaries of government schemes goes with? So is right to privacy something to be only in the elite spectrum, or we should also see the right to privacy of people who are the beneficiaries of this project? And recently when I went to Attapadi, what I found was that even in the toilets, you could see this specific scheme of the central government saying that the picture of Prime Minister and everyone is in the toilet. Okay, toilet doors. So even the ownership of toilet is not given to the beneficial community. So that's the way how the state always, whichever political party, how the state perceives the beneficial status of the tribal community. So from answering needs to realizing rights is a travel which we have to make. From the beneficiary status to the citizen right holder is a travel which we need to make. From the consultations to participation and ownership is a travel which we need to make. From the provider role, the state should realize that we are at the role of duty bearer. You know about Article 46, right? Which particularly says that the state should work in particular for the social justice of these marginalized communities. So now I'll say some names. So if you are familiar with these names, please clap. Okay? Jallianwala Bagh, Mangal Massacre. Who clap? Okay, I'll give you the mic. Okay. Okay. Next one, Mangal Pandey, Sidhu and Kanhu, Gandhiji, Jaipal Singh Munda, Rani Lakshmi Bai, Jhansi Rani, Rani Gardingla. So there is a silencing in the history. This is a poem by Poliyela Pachen, who is a Renaissance leader in Kerala. He says that not a single letter is seen on my race. So many histories are seen on so many races. Scrutinize each one of them, the whole histories of the world. Not a single letter is seen on my race. So your history textbooks never taught about these persons, right? But it always told about some other persons, right? So have you heard about Mangal Massacre? Anyone? Anyone from somebody clap? Who was that? Someone from who was that? So Jesse. Okay. Okay. So you know about Jallianwala Bagh. So 7 years before the Jallianwala Bagh, in the Rajasthan, in the Mangal Hill, in 1913-17 November, 1,500 tribal community people gave their blood for getting the independence of India. 7 years before Jallianwala Bagh. But it's never accounted in our history. So is the life of people who gave their life belonging to tribal communities somewhat lesser than those people who gave their life in the Jallianwala Bagh? So how these 1,500 people are being erased from the history? Do you know about Mona Lisa, one girl known as, what was her name? One girl with this eyes, Mona Lisa, right? Okay, you know about that person, right? And we were all celebrating that girl in social media. But we never thought she belongs to the Banjara tribe. This Banjara tribe, after all these years, what is the occupation which she is doing? She's not going to the schools, right? So we are actually celebrating her as a model. Rather, we are not thinking why after this post-independence era, a girl from Banjara tribe has to sell ornaments during this particular ceremony. So she comes from the tribal group which gave 1,500 martyrs to the Indian independence. She belongs to that particular tribal community. Have you heard about Sidhu and Kanhu? Who is the first martyr of Indian independence? First martyr of Indian independence? You clap for his name anyway. Mangal Pandey. He's been told as the first martyr of the Indian independence, first independence movement in 1857. But these two people were hanged by Britishers, executed. They were brothers as part of Sandal rebellion in Jharkhand in 1856. Then how come they didn't become the first martyrs of Indian independence? What was less in them to get the status of first martyrship? How did it went to Mangal Pandey? These are things to be revisited. Do you know about Jaipal Singh Munda? Anyone? Students of law should know this name. Can anyone say a major contribution of him? I'm going to give 500 rupees. No Google. Yeah. Your principal will give you the 500 rupees. Yeah, tell me. Yeah. Exactly, my 500 bucks is gone. Give very good clap. So, Jaipal Singh Munda was a member of the Constituent Assembly who gave major contributions to the Constituent Assembly. Okay. So, even Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is being only taught as the father of the Constitution in one column in your NCRT textbooks even. So, Jaipal Singh Munda belonging to Munda tribe. Another thing is that he was a captain of the Indian hockey team which earned gold medal in 1928 Summer Olympics at Amsterdam. Okay. So never this is being taken account to the history of the sports of India. Have you heard about Vandana Kataria? A recent person, I think she was participating in the Olympics from Tokyo or something. And when she failed in the Olympics, crackers were burst by the entire village. Can you imagine that? The failure of India was celebrated by the nationalists of the village. Why? Only because she belonged to a Dalit community. Crackers was burst because she failed. Okay, so the entire notions of meritocracy, the feeling of nation is to be questioned in another way when it comes to people in sports coming to the tribal from the tribal community. Do you know this person, Rani Gedinlo? Anyone? So she was from Manipur and she was jailed in her 60th year age in 1932. And for 14 years she was in jail. 14 years she was in jail. But no one speaks about her, right? So this is another important person from the history to remember. So now, have you heard about Nirbhaya case? How many of you heard? Please raise your hand. Nirbhaya. And the criminal amendments which came forth, right? How many of you heard about Madura? Madura. Your legal textbook teach about Nirbhaya? Your legal textbook has anything about Madura? Okay. So you have heard about IPC 376, right? Which is now the 70th of BNS, right? What does it deal with? Okay, your browser who deals with the chapter says. rape as in what kind of rape? 375 is rape. What is 376? So it's gang rape. Okay. So this particular amendment to the 376, as in 376B of custodial rape or gang rape, came by the sacrificing of Madura. So she was a 16-year-old Adivasi girl who was raped by two policemen in custody. The trial court accused the accused, calling it consensual and saying that tribal people are habitually ready to have sex with men. And then the High Court convicted both policemen, and the Supreme Court reversed conviction, said that there was no evidence of resistance. Okay, so these Indian notions about the rape, saying that if there is no evidence of resistance, it cannot be amounted to rape. And coming to the criminal amendment with regarding to 376B, started by the Madura case. So this is another important legal pronouncement with regard to Madura, a tribal girl of 16-year-old. So now, what is the most important issue faced by the tribal community? What would be the most important issue? Yourself. What is the most important issue faced by tribal community? What do you think? What discrimination? Discrimination. Oh, yourself. What do you think? That gentleman. Yeah. No, you. The other guy. Yeah. Community. Lack of commodities. Okay. Yourself, the one at the back. Left.
Not being treated equally.
Not being treated equally. Okay. So these are common issues which we all know, right? But what about the adequate representation of tribal community in all sort of institutions? Why that particular issue is not being identified? So why do you think that scheduled tribe people need reservation? What is it for? Yes, sir. Why do we need reservation for tribal community?
They don't have enough money to pay them.
Enough
Money to pay them.
money. So we give reservation. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Better representation. Okay, give him a good clap. Okay. So why do we need reservation? We need reservation to prevent oligarchy. It's not a poverty alleviation program. It's not to uplift someone from somewhere, but rather it's to prevent the oligarchy and to ensure adequate representation. Are you familiar with the term oligarchy? Oligarchy means the power of the few people. Is only few white men ruling us good? Is few men ruling us good? Is that good? So there should be adequate representation of every communities. So I would just cite two examples. One is from the Supreme Court of India. As per the 124th article, subclause 3, these are the criteria to become the Supreme Court judge. Okay, these are the basic criteria. Do you think that people from ST community are not meritorious enough to fulfill these criteria as per 124.3? Do you think that all tribal people are not meritorious enough to fulfill these criteria? This citizen of India served as a judge of FC, distinguished jurist in the opinion of President. Are tribal advocates, lawyers, judges in high courts not meritorious enough to fulfill these criteria? They might be right. They might be meritorious enough to fulfill these criteria. But when we look at the 52 Chief Justices of India till date, 14 have been from the Brahmin community, and till 1980 there was no judge from OBC or SC community, and till now there is no judge from scheduled tribe community. So even if Justice D.Y. Chandrachud have extensively written about the need of reservation, merit and efficiency, we see that even his collegium recommendations was not able to include a person from the scheduled tribe community till date. So post independence, we are not having a single judge in the Supreme Court of India belonging to the tribal community. This is another important. You could also look at the speeches by Professor Dr. Mohan Gopal, who was a Vice Chancellor of Nuance Bangalore. He has written extensively about the reservation representation in the apex courts. So this is another interesting work on oligarchic media houses. You can refer this thing. This is an Oxfam India report which looks at 121 media houses, and it says that none of the persons from SC/ST communities are being media persons in these 121 premium media houses of our country. These are the teachers in higher education institutions. When we say that reservations dance everything, you should look at the number of professors in IISc Bangalore by 2021. From ST community is just 0.4%. From SC it is 2.8%. From OBC it is 2.6%, and 94.2% come from the general communities. So this is a kind of lack of representations for the tribal community in the higher education institutions. So what is basically SC and ST? What do you think? Who are STs? I know the full form as well as you. We often say it's easier to get reservation. Why do you need reservation for these communities? Everything of that sort. So as per the new inclusion criteria by the national commissions, scheduled castes are those communities which are extremely socially, educationally, and economically, take this word also, okay, economically backward, and they should rise out of the traditional practice of untouchability. So which means that if a community is uplifted socially, educationally, and economically, they won't be in which list? They won't be in SC list. If another community, per se, any upper caste communities, which goes beyond extreme social, education, and economic backwardness, they would be included in which list? SC list. So this is a very open door based on some scientific criteria. Not that someone born in some community randomly being put in some community. So if someone says that these communities doesn't need reservation, they are uplifted, simple thing you have to say to them is that just to write the national commission saying that do a survey and find out the statistics. Okay. And take off this community from the list. Another thing is scheduled tribe community. It says that indication of primitive traits, distinctive culture, geographical isolation, shyness of contacting with community at large, and backwardness. Some things within these criteria are problematic, yet these are the criteria. So if any other community becomes this much of geographically isolated, they would be also put forth in which community? In the ST status. Okay, any community from the ST list would be also taken away from the list if they are not having these particular characteristics. So, do you know about Muslims, those who belong to scheduled tribe community? Anyone? Muslims belonging to scheduled tribe community. Have you heard about Asifa, a nomadic tribe who was raped? A child. She belonged to ST status. All Muslims belonging to Lakshadweep are belonging to ST communities. So it's not within the religious communities. Malayaria Christian communities from Kerala, they are also in the scheduled tribe list. So just to look at how the scheduled tribe students' reservations and merit is being linked with, I will ask you 3-4 questions. If you know the answers, please raise your hands. Okay. So Inji Taratal. Kuda Goliniad. Anyone? Kuda Goliniad. Andon. Some Bahubali language, that's what we want. Andon. Okay, what did Krishna eat during his childhood days? How many of you know that? Butter. That is a general knowledge, right? These are not the other questions were not part of the meritorious general knowledge examinations, right? So if a student belonging to tribal community writes this examination in your low NS examination, he would secure 3 marks and you will secure 1 mark. And what will you say? These were not part of the syllabus, so we need cut-off marks. That would be the thing which you would say. And in Kerala also, the first persons were to demand for the reservation process was not people belonging to marginalized sessions, Rather, people from the upper caste community told that we need reservation to get, we need cut-off mark to get passed in the colonial administrative IAS examinations. So that was the kind of IAS examination which existed at that time. So what does merit constitute is something you have to always revisit and think about. So that is something also you have to look at. What is actually merit? So remembering a mountain has these much of heights is something known as merit. Can you say that? Remembering the capital cities of 100 countries is what is merit. Or a tribal student saying that how to enhance the sanitation facilities in my tribal village, I will do the same. Shall it be counted as merit in an IAS examination? So I'm leaving this question to you. Okay. So when you say that reservation, merit and efficiency are distant, go to the studies by Ashwini Deshpande and Thomas E. Wiskoff. So they studied Indian railways and they told that when tribal and SC students, SC employers were employed in the same, the efficiency improved in Indian Railway. So when you take ST people, it's the tribal people, it's not only benefiting them, rather it is benefiting the country's efficiency. Okay. Have you heard about D&I index? Anyone? Who would like to be corporate lawyers among you? Please raise your hands. Anyone? So you will definitely come across this term, D&I. So this is diversity and inclusion policy. So McKinsey, you might be familiar, right? Very corporate firm which does research works, authentic research work. So they have studied around 1,000 leading corporate companies, and what they found is that all those companies who had gender diversity and indigenous diversity, the profit increased rapidly. So if you include someone from tribal community or if you include a woman to the top quartile positions, it is not that they are benefiting within them. It shows that the profit of the company increases because we are getting diverse, innovative knowledge. Okay, so there are 4 reports by McKinsey. Please go through it. Okay, how efficiency is linked with representation. So these are some important judgments by Supreme Court about merit. These are wonderful judgments by. You also have to go through the judgment sometime by Chandrachud, which says about reservation and merit. And finally, we would see how we can move towards a right-based approach. Does anyone knows about this Kailash Wadekar case? Anyone? Anyone familiar with this case? Kailash Wadekar case? Anyone? Okay. So this was a particular case in Maharashtra where P.P. Jadhav, a judge, have stood for the tribal community. So there was a woman on Mumbai who was her clothes were stripped off. She was compelled to parade naked to her village. No one rescued her. And when this came to the court, as per the SC/ST POA, as you know, a certificate from the respective revenue officers is a mandate to prove the tribal status or the caste status. And the revenue officers always decline to provide an ST certificate to Nandabai so that the provisions of SC/ST POA won't be attracted. Okay. So during the trial also they were not providing the same, and the judge sitting on the bench made a very important observation and conclusion that I don't need any certificate to prove that Nandabai belongs to tribal community. That was he told, and he told that what proves she belongs to tribal community is a kind of atrocity being committed at her. If she was a woman from any other community, she won't be asked to parade naked, and no, there will be someone to help her if a woman is being paraded naked in any other places. So the kind of atrocity committed at her and the lack of compassion shown by the entire village leading to social boycotting itself proves that she belongs to scheduled tribe community. That's what the judge told. So you might have, your symposium would also have many papers studying about the tribal issues. But as law students also, you should also shift your paradigm, or as researchers also, you should shift your paradigm, not only looking at the pain of the tribal community, where the oppressors are always invisibilized. So we should shift our paradigm of the academic orientation to look at what kind of privileges are leading to the oppression of these particular communities. I would cite only 3 examples. First one is, this is from Kerala. So Do you think they achieve something in some examination to be in the first page of the newspaper? What would be their quality, merit to be in the first paper of the newspaper? Huh? Yeah. They were some ex-royal family. Since princely seats have been abolished as per our act and titles have been abolished by the constitution. So they are ex-royal family, and what they did to be the meritorious persons in the first page of newspaper is plucking some vegetables planted by someone else. So plucking the lady's finger brings them to the first page of the newspaper, and it is said that the royal lady's finger. So lady's finger is there in our home. My grandfather was a farmer for long year and he died out of heart attack from the farming field. He was never even in the obituary newspaper page. These persons who were not cultivating anything randomly went to a function, took some lady's finger, can come to the first page of the newspaper. Okay. And we see that they don't have any reservation. They live a very pathetic life. Right? So what is a merit which brought them to the first page of the newspaper is to be analyzed rather than always looking at the poverty of the tribal people and studying it 101 times. Okay. Second thing is, you might have seen this Powder's right. I don't have any issues with these communities. I have very close friends from these communities. But if I am terming this as Munda Sambar powder, okay, or I am saying that some Cholan are in the tribal Sambar, what will you start to say? You are saying about caste, right? Why do we bring caste into classrooms? Why do we bring caste into markets? Right. But these products are being sold as products for everyone. So how the entire discourse around e-commerce and tribal markets are being also diminished in a way only to the particular cultural identity. Okay. And these are 3 toilets in a temple in Kerala. So you might think Kerala as a progressive literary state. Transgender people also have one toilet, following the Nalsa judgment. First state to implement them. That's not right. The first toilet is for men, second toilet is for women, third one is for Brahmin community. The most literary state has had this. So even when going for urinating and other basic things, they are thinking, okay, where am I in the graded inequality and let me enter. So this is according to the Prevention of Untouchability Civil Rights Act, Protection of Civil Rights Act, which is something which organizes a social disability upon people, right? Okay, yeah. Trishur. Somebody from there. Yeah, but it happened, that's what I am saying. Yeah. And they have to change the same. Okay. So we should also look at how privileges, caste discriminations also are being perpetuated around. Not only looking at the oppression, we should look at how oppressive systems around us are retained. How privileges are being retained around is also something which you have to look at. I would say one instance where this particular boy belonging to SCST community grew his hair in length and he walked to a street in Kerala and he was caught by police officers who used chili at his penis. Applied chili at his penis. He came back and he committed suicide. But at the same area, when someone is putting it as a kuduma, will police officers do custodial torture to him? Caught him, you have association with mafia or you are using MDMA? Something of that sort would come. Okay. So this, you should also look at how privileges even exist today for some communities and some voices are being misheard. That's also to be taken into account. So can you all raise one hand? One hand. Can you just clap? Raise one hand. How will you clap? Okay. Please, how will you clap? Show me. Okay. So we always stand for our own constitutional rights. So with that time also we should listen to other people whose voices are mostly unheard, silenced, and joint venture and common preamble and concept of fraternity should enshrine in ourselves. Chandrachud have one beautifully said that what is the quality of a meritorious student? He says that the quality of the meritorious student is to adhere to the constitution values. So that should be something which makes you meritorious lawyers for tomorrow. So keep this in mind. So please stand up. Please stand up. Do a small activity and well. Please stand up. If you know the name, please be seated. Okay? Sonia K. Ayush Ashna. Payal Talvi. Kanbai Jamra. Dilkush Shaharia. Anyone? So you're not familiar with these names because they are no more with us. They all came from tribal communities as students to higher education institutions pursuing their dreams. But they are no more with us because the institutional murders happened to them because of the tribal identities. So rather than seeing them on stages, rather than seeing them with us as students, we have seen their suicide as just obituary reports in front of us and just numbers. So it's our responsibility in every higher education institutions to basically promote the inclusivity and to look at the marginalized voices. Okay, so please be seated. I would just end up in 2 minutes citing a very personal narrative. So what empowers marginalized communities is two things. One, the shift of awareness should also be not only given to the tribal and students belonging to the marginalized section. Rather, the focus should be also on the privileged sections. How to be aware of them, to shed the privileges is something which is important. Secondly, I myself belong to a slave community from Kerala, and my first ancestor was a slave to an ox. So there was an ox in a particular family, and his duty was to take care of this ox. And he was not given food properly. The ox was given food in a proper vessel. He was given the food in the soil, mere soil, digging a pit over the soil. And he was not having a shelter at brain, but rather this ox was having a shelter at brain. So he was not even equated to a captive. And after the same, this ox was sold, and the rate for my forefather at the market where he was sold was lesser than this ox. It was lesser than this ox. And after that, when it comes to my grandmother, she delivered 10 children, but she was working at the field of a journey where she was not able to feed the child, and 7 of them died because of not able to properly feed. And when it came to my father, he was a person who had to eat food which was torn away from the hot tails. That was his condition. And when I stand in front of you today, and I go to those paddy fields where my ancestors worked, and I go to those places where my forefathers were sold, and I deliver today lectures in all those institutions which stand in those farm fields today. And it's only from my father who had to eat from hotel wages, I can sit in my houses, deliver my food using a Swiggy app very easily. So this was only possible because I truly believe that we had a promising constitution which said that the value of each man would be equal. So the promise of the constitution is what we all take into our minds, and the education is something which all enlightened us. So I think that by this education and practices, you become very responsible citizens who will uphold all the constitutional values. So I would just end up by saying that I just saw a recent reel where a woman, a very old woman, was asked by another person that our Hanuman, who is our deity, our Lord, have raised a mountain by using a single hand. what have your people done? And she replied that if your Lord have raised a mountain by one hand, our Ambedkar have raised millions of lives by a mere pen. That's what they said. So, thank you all for inviting me here and please listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask the same. If you have any dissenting opinions also, feel free to ask, share the same. Thank you all. Thank you for inviting me. Anyone, any questions, any dissents?
Hello. So good morning, sir. Myself, Kayada from BD section. As a future of Inda, I have a question to you. Sir, as you mentioned the name of Jaipal Singh in the context of talking about this, I have a question where he once quoted a quote that we were the first to be colonized in this country and we are still being governed by others. Which here we can clearly notice how the sixth and fifth schedule, even though they are protective and very largely designed by these non-tribal policy makers, even today fifth schedule powers are mostly constituted within the governor and the state and bureaucratic systems. And it reflects the top-down paternalistic structures and lack of the self-governance. Talking about the data which I knew is that the census of 2011 in Kerala, it says that the ST from only 1.45% of Kerala's population, that is approximately 4.84 lakh people, and the Kerala Human Development Report of 2005 says that consistently shows that the tribal communities have lower literacy and they have a low health income level, even though Kerala ranks high overall in Human Development Index. I do have a question that India's current model of tribal rights truly reflect the voices of communities themselves as it is told, or do you think it continues to represent a non-tribal paternalistic idea of the protection?
I do think that the colonial idea of colonizing the white man's burden yet is there in the governance bureaucratic system which we have today. So if you even look at the tribal settlements across the South India, they are being a new modern form of colonies. In Kerala itself, there are 40,000 colonies where I come from. So the real issue is of an autonomy. The self-autonomy is a relevant and important question to be seen. And as you have told about Mondal, he have also told that while the objective resolution was passed, he told to Nehru that we do not have much to learn from your democratic principles. Rather, you come to our tribal settlements and learn about democracy. So when I was a sociology student in degree course, we were having this tribal visiting program. We were also mentioning you were planning to have tribal visiting program. And we went to a particular hamlet at 11 o'clock. My teacher was very anxious, saying that will there be any attack on women students who are coming? What will these people do? Something of that sort. But when we went to that place at 11 o'clock, what we could see is that the entire hamlet, including a 70-year-old woman with jasmines and bangles, they were all dancing together. People belonging to all gender identity was dancing together in the particular hamlet. Is that possible in our colleges? Is that possible even in our local areas or residential areas? Is that possible in urban cities? So the kind of principles of gender justice being hosted by these particular communities are inevitable. So we should actually learn and look at how democratic principles are being upholded by tribal community rather than making a concrete plan and going to the tribal community as a consultation. There should be people from tribal community at power positions to the adequate representation who could actually make changes in another way. So the standpoint of tribal persons should be effectively brought into the planning of the state.
So So, but I would also like to add to the same point that India is making many schedules for these tribes people, but they are making for them. They are not making with them.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such an inspiring address. Your word has not only enlightened us, but have also encouraged everyone.
Oh, just 1 minute. Sorry to interrupt. I forgot to say about my organization. It's Disha. It's been running for 10 years, and we are providing pro bono legal aid for the marginalized sessions. Just one case I would like to put forward is of Devi Priya, an 8-year-old child who was insulted by the Pink Police. Pink Police, do you know? It's a police for women and children, right? So her phone was missing, this officer. So she told that this 8-year-old child took away her phone, and she was made a thief in front of everyone. And every night, due to post-traumatic stress disorder, she woke up every night saying that police Gandhi, I didn't take the phone. So it was in such an alarming situation, she was unable to do her education. No action was taken despite of several representations we made to the government. And finally, we bought the same in the High Court of Kerala and invoking the Parents Patriarch doctrine and the Constitution Court principle by Nilabati Vera case. We had a 1,75,000 compensation for the child from the Kerala High Court. So we are basically doing so.
Anyone having any question or discussion that can come up? Thank you, sir, for such an inspiring address. Your word has not only enlightened us, but have also encouraged everyone here to reflect on our role in contributing to the social upliftment and empowerment. Thank you once again, sir, for gracing the National Symposium with your presence, motivating everyone on tribal issues and inspiring us in pursuit of social justice and equality. Your message today will guide our efforts in times to come. Every great event deserves a fitting conclusion. To express our gratitude, I now invite Mr. Lam Dashi, student co-convener of committee, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Lam.
A very warm and soulful morning to everyone present here and to the participants who have joined us from across the nation. As the rhythmic pulse of this beautiful day soars into calm, my heart fills with gratitude. I, Lam Tashi, co-convener of Center for Tribal Socio-Legal Research, rise on behalf of entire center to deliver the word of thanks. At the closing of this inaugural session of the first Inter-Collegiate Research Symposium on Voices from the Margins, Interdisciplinary Perspective on Tribal Issues in India, today has not merely been an academic gathering, it has been a moment of communion, a space where voices from the margin have found resonance and respect. It reflects what tribal wisdom has always taught us, that knowledge thrives in community and harmony, not in isolation. At the outset, I express my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Mr. Dinu Vail, founder of State Secretary of Disha, for your moving words and inspiring presence. Your dedication to justice and inclusivity mirrors the heartbeat of our tribal ethos, one that speaks of harmony, dignity, and collective strength. Sir, we thank you once again for taking time out from your busy schedule and gracing our national symposium with your presence. I extend my deepest gratitude to Reverend Father Sibi Malamata, CMI Manager, Christ Academy Educational Institution, and Chief Patron of this symposium. Father, we are thankful for your constant encouragement and blessing that empower every initiative we undertake. Thank you once again for your support that has been a cornerstone of this academic endeavor, inspiring us to pursue meaningful dialogue on tribal research and social transformation. My sincere appreciation goes to our respected principal, Professor Dr. Father Davis Panagan, CMI, whose deep passion for tribal studies and unwavering commitment to inclusive education has been the driving force behind this symposium. Father, thank you for your wholehearted encouragement, visionary leadership, and your constant motivation that not only inspire this academic initiative, but have also enriched our understanding of tribal communities and their lived realities. We are truly grateful for your continued support and for the nurturing and environment that values research, empathy, and social responsibility. Thank you once again, Father. I also extend a heartfelt gratitude to our respected Vice Principal, Dr. Sini John, whose compassion, empathy, and leadership has been a constant source of encouragement. Ma'am, your gentle guidance, patience, understanding, and reassuring presence have been truly instrumental to this symposium, making it not only an academic success but also a truly humane experience. I wish to thank Dr. Irfan Rasul Nazar, Associate Professor of Law and LLM Coordinator, and Mr. Priyam Jagavanshi, Assistant Professor of Law and Co-Coordinator of 3-year LLB program for their constant mentorship and effort in encouraging student and research initiative at our institution. A special word of gratitude goes to our guiding light and faculty convener, Dr. Subrata S. Satapathy, whose dedication and vision have nurtured the Center for Tribal Socio-Legal Research into a platform that amplifies marginalized voices with scholarly strength and compassion. Ma'am, your keen eye for detail, constant guidance, and mentorship have been instrumental in shaping aspects of this symposium. Your patient encouragement and thoughtful insight have always inspired the entire team to strive for excellence. We sincerely thank you for standing us as a mentor, motivator, and true pillar of support throughout this academic endeavor, ma'am. I am deeply grateful to the center faculty member, Dr. Sudesh SPN and Ms. Shirin Sultana, for their consistent support and guidance throughout this event. I extend a heartfelt thank you to Dr. Sudesh for graciously facilitating our presence of the honored guests, thereby weaving a bond between academic world and the lived realities of the people we study and serve. I also thank all the faculty members, office, media, and IT staff for their presence, support, and timely assurance. I extend my warm appreciation to all the paper presenters, participants, and attendees who have joined us from across the country. Your voices, research, and idea have made this symposium a space of true dialogue and shared purpose. Thank you for your scholarly contribution, which have added immense value to this symposium and fostered a spirit of academic collaboration and exchange. A special word of gratitude goes to our dedicated team of student organizers who have worked tirelessly and relentlessly for over a month to bring this symposium to life. Your enthusiasm, creativity, and teamwork have been truly inspiring. Every detail, from planning and coordination to execution, reflects your commitment and hard work. You have not only organized an event but have created an experience that embodies patience, discipline, and collective effort. As we close today's ceremony, let us carry forward the message that the wisdom of indigenous communities continues to teach us, that the earth nurtures all without distinction, and that knowledge must serve justice, and that the strength of community lies in its unity and empathy. On behalf of the Center for Tribal Socio-Legal Research, I thank each and every one of you who has contributed to making this event a success. May the spirit of solidarity and heartbeat of our tribal traditions continue to inspire us to stand tall for equality, identity, and justice. Thank you all, and may the rhythm of unity guide our steps ahead.
Dear students, the fifth attendance will be taken and the classes will commence from 12:15. The attendance will be taken in the class.
Thank you, Lam, for your warm words of appreciation. As we draw the curtain of this event, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone for your active participation and vibrant energy throughout the program. I now request everyone to kindly rise for the college anthem followed by the national anthem.
Christ is heavenly, proud of your glory. May you prosper eternally. Christ is heavenly.
आशीष मांगे, गाहे तब जय गाथा। जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you once again for being a part of this wonderful event. I also request member and faculty members to stay back for the photo with our chief guest. For the presenter, please be ready. The research symposium will begin in next 15 minutes. I request all the faculties to hand over the attendees, and I request first and BA LLB A section to stay back for the attendance. And to all others, kindly proceed for the next stop thereafter. Thank you all once again for your patience and enthusiasm. We look forward for truly meaningful and engaging symposium ahead. Thank you.
सर्वगम